Welcome to this explainer. Today we're jumping straight into something incredibly actionable. 7 simple 2-minute morning habits derived directly from neurologists that can literally protect your brain. Look, when we talk about strokes, we're talking about one of the leading causes of disability and death in the world right now. But the most crucial takeaway today is something that puts the power completely back in your hands.
Consider this absolutely staggering number. An incredible 80% of strokes could be prevented with simple daily actions. Just think about that for a second. 80%? The doctors who deal with the brain every single day, neurologists, they rarely suffer strokes themselves. And why is that? It's because they practice specific, targeted daily routines to protect their own vascular health. To really grasp the gravity of this, let's talk about the heartbreaking story of a man named Robert, whose life was permanently altered in a single instant. Robert was 68, a retired school principal, and by all outward appearances, he was the absolute picture of health. I mean, his checkups were totally up to date. Yet, during a happy family Sunday lunch, he suddenly slumped forward. His speech slurred, the right side of his face dropped. It was a massive stroke. Extensive brain damage followed, robbing him of his speech and the independence he valued so much.
But here is the absolute most devastating part of Robert's tragedy. As his neurologist looked at the test results, he turned to Robert's wife and said exactly this quote: "It proves that major medical catastrophes can largely be avoided with minor daily adjustments. Nobody needs to go through this kind of preventable anguish." So we're going to walk through the exact 7 habits that take just 2 minutes each, starting from the literal moment you wake up.
Okay, let's dive into the countdown. Habit number 7, immediate hydration upon waking.
Hydrating the absolute second you open your eyes might sound basic, but it is fundamentally crucial because of blood viscosity, meaning how thick your blood is. While you sleep, you naturally lose water through breathing and sweating, so you wake up dehydrated even if you don't actually feel thirsty. Because there's a lack of water, your thicker blood forces your heart to strain just to get the circulation going in those first few hours. This dramatically increases your risk of forming tiny clots that can travel and cause a stroke. The easy fix? Keep a glass of water right on your nightstand. Before you check your phone, before you brew that coffee, just drink. It's the smartest first step of your day.
Moving right along to habit number 6, wake up your body gently.
Think about it like starting a freezing cold car in the dead of winter. You wouldn't just turn the key and immediately floor it, right? You let it idle for a minute. Well, your body works the exact same way. After lying still in bed for hours, your circulation is sluggish and your joints are stiff. Jumping out of bed into a frantic morning rush puts unnecessary stress on your whole system. Dedicating just 2 to 10 minutes for a light stretch or a gentle walk down the hallway acts as this warm-up. It lubricates the joints, pumps blood to the brain, and helps control blood pressure in the long run. You don't need a full workout. Just stretch enthusiastically before you accelerate into your day.
All right, habit number 5, monitor your morning blood pressure.
We have to talk about the #1 cause of strokes worldwide, which actually peaks during your morning cortisol spike, usually between 6 and 10 a.m. High blood pressure is essentially like overpressurized plumbing in your house. It silently wears down your arterial pipes until the catastrophic burst happens. Hypertension rarely gives you any symptoms. It's a completely silent attacker. Day after day, it forces against the walls of your blood vessels until one finally ruptures, causing a bleeding stroke, or until plaques build up and clog the pipe entirely.
Because it hides with 0 symptoms, you have to actively catch it using a digital arm monitor 2 to 3 times a week. And you need to follow these 3 exact steps. Measure it first thing in the morning, before any coffee or meds. Make sure you use the bathroom first, then sit quietly for 5 minutes. And finally, keep your arm supported right at heart level.
Write those numbers down because you really need to know when to sound the alarm. If your morning numbers are frequently hitting that yellow flag zone, anything consistently over 130/80, it's time for a serious chat with your doctor. If you're pulling readings above 140/90, that's hypertension and it requires an urgent doctor visit. Please do not ignore what your morning blood pressure is trying to tell you.
Next up, habit number 4, the anti-inflammatory breakfast.
What you eat first thing in the morning literally sets the tone for your blood vessels all day long. A breakfast packed with white bread, sugary coffee, or boxed juice triggers massive glucose and insulin spikes that just flood your system with inflammation. Trading those sugary options for things like oatmeal, fruit, eggs, or unsweetened yogurt is a massive win. A smart breakfast stabilizes your blood sugar and actively nourishes your arteries right out of the gate.
But watch out for this sneaky supermarket trap. Always double-check your bread labels to make sure you aren't accidentally buying a highly inflammatory sugar bomb disguised as health food. If the very first ingredient on that label says enriched wheat flour, leave it on the shelf. That's a trap. You absolutely want to see whole wheat flour as the primary ingredient to guarantee you're actually getting the fiber your cardiovascular system desperately needs.
Down the habit number 3, hit the pause button on stress.
We live in a world where the very second we open our eyes, our minds start racing about bills, emails, and endless problems. But waking up to immediate stress floods your system with cortisol, heavily spiking your stroke risk. In excess, cortisol is a literal poison. It hikes your blood pressure, messes with your blood sugar, and attacks your arteries. So before you grab your phone or flip on the morning news, just stop. Take 2 minutes, sit quietly, close your eyes, and breathe deeply. Focus purely on the air coming in and out. This simple pause has a robust, scientifically proven impact on lowering your blood pressure.
All right, habit number 2, plan micro movements.
Check this out. Here is a pretty wild fact. Going hard at the gym for an hour doesn't actually cancel out the vascular damage of sitting completely still for 10 hours a day. When you sit for that long, blood flow in your legs just plummets, your metabolism grinds to a halt, and your risk of a clot, thrombosis, skyrockets. You have to actively plan your escape from the killer chair. First thing in the morning, look at your schedule. If you've got hours of computer work, set an alarm. Stand up, grab some water, or walk up a flight of stairs for just 2 minutes every single hour.
And finally, we've made it to the big one. Habit number 1, the surprising secret of oral hygiene.
It sounds kind of crazy, right? But the science connecting oral hygiene to brain health is undeniable. Skipping your dental floss actually kicks off a really dangerous chain reaction. It leads to inflamed gums, which directly dumps bacteria into your bloodstream, perfectly setting the stage for a stroke. Those inflammatory substances travel from your mouth into your blood, silently helping fat plaques build up in your arteries. An inflamed mouth is quite literally rolling out the red carpet for a stroke.
The hard science backing this up is just mind-blowing. A massive, decades-long study found that flossing drops your risk of a cardioembolic stroke. That's a clot traveling from the heart to the brain by a staggering 44%. And people who flossed regularly also saw a 22% drop in their risk of an ischemic stroke. Taking just 2 minutes a day to carefully hug each tooth with floss is a fundamental yet wildly neglected lifesaver.
Knowing that these basic, everyday adjustments, drinking water right away, a quick stretch, checking your blood pressure, eating a smart breakfast, breathing, moving, and flossing can silently and effectively